All right, y'all. Now, welcome to Smoking Word Podcast with your favorite host. You know, you got Sasha P.
And the one and only CJ. What's up, y'all? How y'all live?
How y'all feel?
Today is a very, very special day for Smoking Word Podcast.
You got a very special guest.
I know we say that about all our guests.
All our guests are
but
special.
all our guests are very special. But this one is very, very special.
She just saying that because y'all went to college together.
Y'all just trying to butter me up.
Right.
We have the incredible, informative, in the know,
Yes,
Gerald Moore Jr. in the house today. What's up?
How y'all doing?
what's up? Welcome to
glad to
Smoking
be
Word.
here.
Thanks for
I'm
being
excited.
here.
I'm so excited.
We have fun here. I'm trying to tell you, we have a good time.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Just to start, tell us a little bit about Ohio Cannabis Report,
Okay.
which is kind of how we discovered you
Yeah.
and started our collaborating, which we're so very grateful for. And just like, let's
Yeah. So my name is Gerald Moore Jr. I'm pretty much still a transplant to Ohio. I like to call myself because I feel like I don't really fit in. But I came here by way of Ohio University on a football scholarship. I'm a husband, a father, entrepreneur, nonprofit leader. So I started Ohio Cannabis Report about 6 years ago when we started our industry in Ohio, the medical program.
Mm-hmm.
I got my medical card and I realized I always wanted to be, I figured if I could be in the industry, I would love to. But I would love to own something in the industry. And I just understood that at the price of the licensing, to get a facility, a grow facility, a dispensary, something like that, I just didn't have the bandwidth to do that.
Yeah.
And so during the time, I was like, there's not many people talking about weed, but I've been smoking weed since I was 17.
Right.
But it's been, in the closet, behind the scenes, right? Like nobody could know. So it finally gave me an opportunity to really start to talk about cannabis. But also I got a degree in healthcare. So I understood and I saw and I experienced the medicinal benefits of cannabis outside of just the recreational.
Right.
So I really kind of wanted to bring kind of just that intersection of culture, healthcare, lifestyle, because I still take good care of myself. I still exercise. And people were like, well, you lazy if you smoke weed, or you just can't do all these things if you smoke weed. And I'm like, I was a Division I football player and All-American, and I got my degree on time, and so weed has never stopped me.
Blowing
it down.
Right. So it has never stopped me.
It has never stopped me. In my life. So that was kind of the beginning of that. I had also started athletes in cannabis prior to that.
Okay.
And so that was more of this, I know me and a lot of my, peers as athletes, we've been chiefing heavy, but you can't tell anybody because it's illegal.
It's against your conditioning.
But and everybody's telling you that, again, it's bad. You get drug tested, obviously, but the whole time they're giving you all these pills. Whole time everybody getting shots. You're getting Toradol shots, you're getting cortisone shots, you're getting all types of over-the-counter pills. But, obviously you got illicit, you on a college campus.
Right.
So it's hella illicit drugs. You got people on Adderall and,
It's normalized.
It's normalized. So I was like, weed don't really... weed good for me.
Comparatively speaking.
I'm like, people getting their guts pumped for alcohol. There's mountains over here that niggas is snorting. This is nothing for real. So it kind of became kind of my ritual, and a lot of my teammates was doing it. And I just realized you deal with a lot of pressure playing sports at that level. You're in the media, right? If you don't perform, you don't play. If you don't perform, you could lose your scholarship. If you don't perform, that's your chances of going to the league. So it's a lot riding on that when, you're 18, 19, 20 years old, 23 years old. That's a lot. And so you're going to do something.
Right.
You know what I mean? You going to, especially if you don't have the support. So we kind of became one of those things where after a game, I'm exhausted, I'm tired. I can smoke one, I'm going to sleep. I'm going to have a great sleep. It's going to help me relax my body, my muscles and stuff like that. So I kind of learned that way. And then once I got back to Ohio after trying out for the league, again, I looked at the NFL. I'm like, these niggas are slaves because they can't really smoke legally. Right? But again, this is something that helps a lot of them, but they can't promote it.
Right.
You know, they can't really do it publicly. But whole time we're holding these people
I done
up on a
smoke with
pedestal.
NFL niggas.
Right. Right. Like a lot of my homies is there.
Like,
Yeah. But again, it's the lifestyle. But then also we don't talk about, again, we're doing it more so recreationally, not knowing, no, we're doing this medicinally.
and we're using it medicinally. We just don't have the wording or the understanding to know that.
And we don't have the chemical processes to make, you know, rosin or resin or all these other types of things that most people only care about the smell. You don't even know I'm high if I don't tell you.
Right.
Like,
Shit.
right. So most people, like, if I don't smell like weed, you probably don't even know I'm high.
Right.
You know what I mean? And also, it doesn't change my personality like that. You know what I mean? So it just makes me more comfortable, like if I'm dealing with anxiety. So that was kind of athletes and cannabis, and I understood that sports and athletics and entertainment really gets a lot of people going.
Yeah.
But also a lot of my athletes friends, they don't really have that voice, right? They don't really have the knowledge of healthcare. I got a degree in healthcare, so I understand anatomy. I understand the business of the healthcare system. I understand the business of the pharmaceutical industry. I understand the business of marketing and advertising on top of sports, nutrition, mental health. And so, but again, there was nobody mixing all of that stuff together, right? And so,
making them connections so people can have that understanding, you know?
Right. And so, like brain stuff, we started learning about CTE, concussions, and I'm like, well, shit, I've been playing football since I was 6. Like, and I've been a heavy hitter. Like, I haven't been one of them dudes that's like, you got receivers that don't really get hit like that all the time. But I was a safety in college. So me, like, I had to learn very early. I had to play smart, right? And so I didn't want to take unnecessary hits, you know, that could fuck me up. Because again, I knew football wasn't my life. Like football was like more.
But that's some insight that most of these young guys not gonna have. You know, or probably never even thought about it that deep. Yeah. You know, so that's
just environment though.
Yeah.
I mean, I equate that to my environment and my upbringing, my parents, and then, you know, I went to private schools and stuff like that. So you get to see people who are successful doing way more than just sports and entertainment. And a lot of times I feel like our community, sports and entertainment, it seems like it's a fast way to get money and success, which it can be, but it's also like people don't realize that you're labor still. Just because you're on the TV doesn't mean you're not labor. Just because you're making $1 million doesn't make you a part of the elite class. Right. And so you're $1 million employee. So you got to pay taxes on that $1 million, and you got to feed your family on that.
And you got
to
listen to what they tell you to do.
And you got to do whatever the fuck they tell you to do. And you like damn near a racehorse. Like everybody hurt all the time. And so what determines if you get paid or not is if you can perform and play. And so if you can't perform or play because you hurt, you out of there. So now they always have a constant group of people that always gonna play. The league average is 3 to 4 years. So most guys don't ever even make it out of their rookie contract. And then it's a small percentage of people that actually do make it in reality anyway. So when you look at the grand scope of life, it's like, yeah, you hit the lottery, but also your body fucked up. And if you don't make it to your second contract, you not getting paid like that.
But that's where
that thin line gets there, because some of these is choices that people is making willingly, you know. And you know, I understand the background and stuff, but as black people, I'm at the point where we got to start taking more accountability for ourselves and how we moving forward, because we know how we got here. But what is we doing now? You know?
And it's
so, like you said, the economics conversation has to be had, because for me, that's the only way we're gonna get out of this. So, you know, and I know I work in politics and stuff, but you ain't gonna vote your way out of, you know, a terrible life. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and politics is like the centerfold of everything, and like that's kind of what got me into like Ohio Cannabis Report. Was, again, I grew up in DC, Maryland, Virginia. So I
DMV area.
The DMV, and so I'll just be specific for people. I grew up in PG County, Bowie, Maryland. That's where like the bulk of my life from like age 6 through high school was. And so I ended up, my parents moved us from Rochester, New York, which working class, poor, great family, you know what I mean? But again, I was born out of wedlock to teenage parents, you know what I mean? So then once my dad graduated, we moved to Maryland. And so that's when like everything switched. Like my cousins was like, yo, you literally switched. Like
Like Fresh Prince.
But it was one of those things, like my environment had completely changed.
Yeah.
You know, I was around, and then like PG County is black money.
That's like the rich, like, yeah.
So you were around, and then it's generational too. So it's like my parents was like new money, right? So I'm on the team, and like my little league basketball team, my guy Gerald Grant, his dad was Horace Grant, and Harvey Grant was his uncle, I believe. I might have it mixed up. So he played in the NBA. So here I am, my little league sports team, and this NBA player is walking into the gym at 6, 7, 8 years old. Being from Rochester, you never saw that.
Right.
And then you didn't see people's parents rolling up in Benzes, Lexuses, Range Rovers, mom decked out, you know, jewelry, everybody doing well. You know, we got a country club right next door. All the houses, for the most part, 500,000, a million, gated communities. And so you go from that to this, and you're like, well, I ain't got no, like, I don't really know much else. You know what I mean? But then my parents started putting me in the private school. So I never really knew what my parents did. You know what I mean? I knew my dad did computer database stuff. I knew my stepmom was a lawyer and she worked for NASA. Dang. But you don't really know what, like, when they say the federal government, like, everybody doing some different type of job. Right. The person cleaning the hallways is a federal government employee. Right. The person taking out the trash.
And the postman.
And the postman. So, like, you got police officers. And so you just realize that the federal government really is the machine that is controlling a lot of stuff. And even if you don't work for the federal government, like, a lot of people have businesses that get contracts with the federal government, or they get state government contracts or county government contracts. Right. So, like, everybody is intertwined in it somehow, right? We all paying taxes, so we are part of that. But I realized that a lot of my friends' families were like 2, 3, 4, 5 generations of, like, they live in there, they got bread. And I'm like, my parents is making it work. But, like, I don't got no grandparents helping me. We don't got no aunts and uncles helping me. All of my family, like, still hood as fuck. Like, you know, my dad is the one that made it. So then once we moved to D.C., I started to realize, like, everything was political. Sports was super political. What school you went to was super political. Who your parents was and what they did for a living was super political. Everything. What community you lived in was super political. And then so you just started to see, like, how the money worked, how the networks work, going to these private schools. The CEO of Kevin Plank graduated from my high school, so The Rock came to my school when it was like junior year. So we had Under Armour uniforms. We got to test out all the brand new gear before it ever touched the market. And so you just get to see, like, what it's like to grow up around kids with bread in these institutions.
So let's think a little bit to college. Yep. Gerald and I both went to the Do not get it twisted.
Not to be confused with OSU. For you creon buttons.
Right.
We the first university of the state, man. 1804.
Yeah, see, I ain't know that.
Yeah, 1804. Put some respect. So let's talk a little bit about OU, since we actually were there for 2 years, overlapped. Never knew this nigga. But it's funny how circles in life, you know, life just comes back around full circles. So
y'all was in the network, you just didn't know.
Probably passed by you on Court Street. For sure. And I've heard you said you took a couple acting classes. I was a theater major, so that's dope. So let's just talk about kind of getting more pivoted into, like, weed culture and consumption. OU is a super hippy dippy school. I will say I can't even probably put an amount on the amounts of marijuana that I consumed over the 4 years that I went there. I miss it though, because as far as quality, back in the day,
that's probably where it was growing from.
And now they're making money. You got a whole strain, Meigs County Gold. You got so much stuff that we used to smoke on a regular basis that now is being distributed.
See, in farm areas, I'm telling y'all, don't sleep.
So, like, OU, again, like, I played football there, so I was recruited to play football, scholarship athlete. And so when I got there, I really fell in love with just the environment, all the greenery. Like, you know, my family, like, we country boys for real. My granddad and them moved up to the city, but they all from down south. Like my uncle just moved back to Georgia. You know what I mean? So like my dad always took us fishing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So once I got to OU, I was like, man, this is beautiful.
It reminded you of that old school.
Well, it just felt like me. Like, you know, when you just got that feeling like, nah, this is it.
Yeah.
And so it just felt good. The people were cool. Like, and it was different because like you had like, again, it was a hippie vibe. The town was super hippie. Everybody super just chill.
Because they high.
Everybody high.
So, you know, obviously on my visit, I came on my official visit and we were smoking, drinking and stuff like that. And I was like, I didn't realize everybody in college was smoking. You know, again, my parents made me kind of a square, like, don't do this shit because you gonna fuck it up. You don't want to get in trouble. So
we already know.
Right. So I was on damn near scared straight. You know, and I think at one point, my dad was on scared straight for real. You know what I mean? But like my parents they ended up being super strict, you know what I mean? But I was around it and I had already began smoking. Then I got to college and I was like, damn, everybody's smoking weed. Yeah. And I just realized at that point, like the weed stuff was like, then it started to help me. Like again, you get to college, you lifting every day. You know, which a lot of people don't understand, like that shit is strenuous. Like you're tearing your muscles.
And that ain't healthy. You need rest days
and you get some rest days. But again, they put you pushing to the max. And so everything is about performance too though. What are you eating? Like, you know, certain guys gotta keep a certain weight, so they're monitoring the things that they eat. So you know, you are very monitored on your lifestyle and your body composition and how you move. And so as an athlete, you become super analytical of everything. And, you know, depending on who you are, like I just became super analytical. Then I started studying healthcare. I was like, all this shit combines. The whole time they saying weed is bad, but they'll give us all these pills. Right. We selling the pills in the locker room because somebody always hurt.
That's crazy.
Right? Somebody always broke something, tore something. You just sore.
But if you find weed in my blood, oh, heaven forbid. Right. Like, that's crazy. But you want me addicted to opioids. Got it.
Right.
So that became my mindset, and so at OU it was just, you know, I had to play it smart, you know what I mean? Like, because you do get drug tested. We have the NCAA drug test. It's changed a little bit now.
Yeah, right? Now it's different.
You know,
which is progress. You know
you know, and obviously legalization.
So they're not drug testing college athletes?
So it just
I don't think they get in trouble no more.
Yeah, they've changed the rules, so like you basically it's like a slap on the wrist. Like they're not penalizing you for having cannabis. Because before the NCAA, and I'm against the NCAA. I think they should disband the whole NCAA because I think it's a fraudulent organization, and they're taking advantage of a lot of black boys and young and girls.
Yeah, making hella money. That's kind of trafficking too, like you said.
It's all and we'll get to that. Like, I know how you slip that in there. It's all trafficking. It's all part of the same thing, right? So like now with NIL, right? Since this is the hot topic, name, image, and likeness. I was telling her earlier, like I was a signed model and actor at 13, 14. So I was making money from my name, my image, and my likeness. I had to stop that because at that time it was illegal in the NCAA to basically make money for your name, your image, and
because they owned you at the time, basically.
Well, because the contract, before you even signed the contract, you could be ineligible. So before, like when you get a D1 scholarship, you have to sign basically your life away to the university and the institution. Yeah. Right? Because they're giving you this money to play sports, which again, you could get hurt, you could die. Like there's all like niggas is dying out there.
That's true.
So again, like some guys, you may not even be 18, so your parents may have to sign for you. And so you're signing these contracts, and what a lot of people don't know, these are 1-year contracts. So if let's say a new coach come in and he don't like you, he could try to force you to leave because you're not his type of player, right? And so a lot of people don't understand like the business of this shit. Like it is a business.
It makes sense though,
right? Yeah. And it's been a
like
business.
anything else.
Everything,
like everything.
Yeah,
I mean,
especially
it's American and capitalism.
University in general. You know, propaganda, all that.
So that's kind of how I got, you know, cannabis, and like we was just smoking hella weed, and we had OU, so it's like the best weed.
Right, and every corner, every alleyway turn, Field and Mayfield.
When you're an athlete, like you don't really gotta look far. People bringing it to
you, yeah.
And like at first, like I was super, like I didn't roll my weed, I didn't buy the weed, I just smoked it.
You was just there, like
I'm just here, like I smoked it. You know what I mean? So like, cause I wasn't trying to get into all the pricing and grams and all that. Nigga, just give me the weed.
Right? Is it weed?
I just need to feel good, get my shit off. I don't need to know
Who
what it
is
is.
rolling the blunt?
Rolling it up. So I finally
Let me know when it's ready.
Yeah, we glad.
I think we all did that at first. Where people were like, all right, bro, like get your own stuff going on. Like, all right, man.
But like even then, like I was still ahead of a lot of bitches. You know what I mean? Like it still was a very like 2008 through 2012. Like it still wasn't like you had your old heads that did it, but everybody else was still learning. You know what I mean? So then once I learned, I think it was like Wiz, and they started papers and doing the boat and rolling. So then I started practicing, or then I get one of the little joint rollers. Or then we had like a gas mask, me and my roommate, and then it was just a bomb. So like then you seeing niggas with the little chamber, the little shit like that.
Oh god!
Like it was a party school.
Yeah.
So my first I think
the parties.
The first 5 years we was top 5, and then my senior year we was #1 party school in the country.
In the country.
Country.
Hey,
I want to say it was #1 one of the years I was there for sure.
Probably. Like,
I enjoyed the party or two there,
You smashed.
But I feel like when you in the middle of nowhere, because like I ain't go to OU. I went to Bowling Green, but it's like similar in a sense of like middle of nowhere where you just gotta turn it up. Like
all the kids is partying.
Right.
Like, but I think what drove Ohio over the edge was we were on quarters. And so, like, springtime, when all the fest started happening, and shit was lit, it was beautiful.
Oh.
Like, the whole
almost
street
like Jamaican weather.
Man,
I never
it might rain.
I'm not gonna lie, I had a bad, I was a little homesick my first quarter at OU, first couple quarters. So, like, that fall, I was having fun, meeting people, figuring it out, but I was like, I might go home. I remember having a conversation with my mom, like, I might come home. And she was like, well, at least stick it out 1 year. And then I talked to Horace, a guy that went to Walnut with us, but he was like 2 classes ahead. So he was already there. He said, Claire, I'm going to tell you one thing. Give it 1 spring quarter. Just 1. He was like, if you don't like OU, I will personally put in your application to go somewhere else if you don't want to come back after 1 spring quarter. And I will never forget coming back. I went home for that week for spring break.
Right.
Pulling back up, and I was on South Green.
Yeah, South Green. That's where it's at.
The projects. South Green was the projects for real. Like the top front. It was like the top front 4 was like middle class housing. Once you got back in the dirty South.
OU,
that was the project. That was Third Ward. That was Magnolia.
Definitely, for sure.
And that's what's funny is a lot of black kids was there.
It was like they tried to Rosa Parks, y'all.
They did, but also niggas are procrastinators. And when I started talking to people, they was like, "Man, we was late putting in our putting in your room. You had to submit it.
And that's the thing as an actor.
Niggas.
So all y'all was on the dirty South. That was like the trenches. It was like the older dorms. They weren't renovated.
And they done renovated a lot of them dorms now.
I know. The last time I went to OU was Black Alumni, which was not really, I feel.
This past one?
Oh, yeah.
Cause
all the DEI,
that Title IX stuff.
So it was like, it was a weird feeling because it was like, I feel like I just wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So like, it just, I don't know, it was weird.
Well, and when we was there too, something that really highlighted my experience was we had a black president.
Yes.
Not just Obama, but our school president.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Roger McDavis. Yeah.
So like, as a football player, like he used to be in the locker, like we was on a first name basis. So like he in the locker room, we dapping him up at the game. Like, where you dapping a nigga? Like at a university.
The president of the university.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was super lit. And then obviously Obama, and Obama came to OU 2008. So he actually came to OU for like one of his rallies or whatever. So then I was like,
I think I remember that.
Yeah, that was 2000. So then like my mom, like, damn, like,
it's lit here. Like,
right. You know what I mean? I'm like, we got a black president. We got a black president.
They have a female president now.
Now, yeah, I met her a couple times. And then like our football program, we were on the verge. You know what I mean? Like we were doing good things. Like I was like I wasn't all where I was like 2 to 3 stars, which is middle of the pack. But I was recruited all over the country. And then we had a good group of guys. And so my freshman year, we were 4-8, and we had the most guys go to the league that year. But then after that, like, we won every year. Like, we didn't have a losing record after that. So
that's good.
Then for me, it was like, yo, we made history at this school. And for me, my whole purpose was to make history for my legacy. I was like, I want my kids, when they get there, I want them to be able to see, like, this is what your dad did.
My name's still up.
Right, man. So I done took my son back 3 or 4 times, and I'm like, that's me right there. You know what I mean? And, like, people know who I am when I'm walking through, you know, it's real fandom. And I was never really...
It's real fandom.
There he is.
So like, I was never really like that, though. Like, I never really wanted it for that, but it comes with the territory.
Right?
It's like, it's like chill, like, but, you know, it's a part of it. But that kind of gave me my insight to this world of sports, of politics, of cannabis. And so when I got, you know, graduated, obviously, like, we couldn't smoke weed and stuff like that. So then I tried out for the NFL in 2013 with the Oakland Raiders. And so at that point, I'm like, you know, here I am. I done made it to the pinnacle, right? Like, at this point, the degree was what I wanted in scholarship. The NFL was cherry on top. If I make it, I make it.
Right.
But my body was already fucked up. Like, I already had bad ankles. You know what I mean? Like,
so that's messed up.
That's the part that
you just now left your teens.
Right.
But niggas don't realize, like, the mental, and like we were talking earlier, you got to have some of these aspects and foresight to be like, yo, like,
I don't want to do this.
I don't want to do this, right? But also, a lot of niggas is like, I don't have no other option.
Yeah.
That's how they perceive it.
But it's also a very real thing because you have made it to the top of this thing that all you know is football.
Yeah.
Most of these guys, all they know is football. And then, like, a lot of the schools, unless you know what you want to major in, they just going to put you in a bum-ass
general
major.
studies as.
Right. So then you got guys where you're coming from working class, your parents aren't highly educated, so they're not going to push you into engineering. They're not going to push you into finance or marketing or some of these higher level things or business things. So a lot of the dudes was doing rec management. What the fuck you gonna do with a rec management degree? Like, and niggas don't understand, like,
I don't even know.
I don't even know the fuck.
Why is that a fucking degree?
Because you do have recs, right? But you gonna go manage a rec, and again, that's
you don't need a whole degree in it.
Exactly.
Like, you can manage anything.
Exactly.
That's just a business degree or a management something. You
You
know,
can pull somebody off the street and teach them how to do that.
right?
But again, you done spent 4 years, 5 years at a whole university.
But we got to do better too, as black people, and educating people on who they are.
Yeah.
Yes.
What your identity comes from. It doesn't derive from this. You know, all the things you could be good at. Yourself as a well-rounded whole being.
Yeah.
You know? And then when shit like this happen, you ain't crushed. You know, you know how to pivot. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And so, again, like you said, we have to, one, expose our kids to more. We have to stop putting so much stock into, I mean, even pro sports. Like, that shit is... One, what are we entertained about? You poor.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't need to be entertained.
Go do something or go read a book. Like.
Right. You know? And so we look at these guys and we think like, oh my God, their lives are amazing. But a lot of times it's darker than that because when you go home, don't nobody give a fuck. Like, ain't nobody.
That ain't like real life for real.
It's not.
You know?
So you're a constant, like, whether you play good or bad, everybody's prodding and poking at you, right? Like, you should have made this play. You should have made this catch. Then you still got to deal with family life. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things psychologically, I think, with football, especially if you don't come from a good family that can support you. Like, a lot of the white kids, they have the support structures. So that kind of sparked a lot of shit. And then I graduated again, tried out for the league, got cut. And then my wife, who I met in college at OU, we were dating at the time, and then she has a heart condition. So I came back to Ohio to be with her for her surgery. And then after I got cut, I was like, I might as well stay in Ohio because I just had great success here at Ohio University. So even if like football don't work out, I can go back to campus and become, I can go get my master's.
And they really like athletes coming back to do stuff.
Oh yeah, it's an open door policy. You know what I mean? Because especially if you had success, right? When you graduate. So. And that's part of the network. And a lot of people don't realize college is really just a network.
Yeah, you just expanding your...
Right, you're expanding the network. So you always are able to go back to that university, leverage that university for different things.
I could definitely be better at that. I could.
Yeah.
Could you?
What?
Leveraging like your college network. Even Walnut.
Oh yeah, I definitely could do better at that. I know a shit ton of people from OU.
Yeah,
even like my old professors and stuff. Like
we gonna work on that because that, for what we all doing, it can have some important. You never know, you know.
Well, and I mean, at this point, like we not kids no more, right? So we got to step into that leadership.
We are the alumni of these places,
right? And so
we talking about the people from 1960. Like, no, nigga, you went there.
Also, like, I learned how to just leverage just all of that.
That's the point,
right? But I also realized with cannabis, it's like, well, shit, this shit has been illegal for now 60 plus years. Then Ohio, we finally pushed for legalization. I was like, well, I've been smoking, but I can't own nothing. I can't do nothing.
And then y'all didn't do it the way we want.
Right.
Like with the way we voted for things. Now it's being shifted.
Yeah.
You know? So we do want to get into that too. Like, as you got into it, now these things we thought we could bank on. Because I even, like, I'm a part of a board where we created a nonprofit so that we could get these funds that are supposed to be set aside from the taxes.
Yep.
Now they're changing the rules and now they're using the taxes for every which way. Oh, now y'all want to do some housing. This ain't got shit to do with that. That's not what the money's for.
Right.
So where's the money that we're supposed to be due to put on these programs and do all these things that you said it would be allotted for, you know? So, in addition to that, just let us know what's going on with the updates, with these Senate bills, with all these changes. What are y'all doing? Because this is not what we asked for.
Yeah. So, basically what's happening now is, we had 6 years ago, we voted in medical, right? So, you have to get a medical card to be able to legally purchase cannabis, right? We all know, like, we come from the legacy market. Let's stop saying black market, too. Because we are black, we are brown, and that insinuates that we are doing something illegal or negative. One, it's also a civil right. And so even if you can't afford to get a medical card, because again, they put a price point on these medical cards. So again, if you look at the black community, we already struggle with going to the doctors or finding doctors. And we've been prescribing ourselves cannabis, growing it, getting it anyway. Why the fuck do I need a doctor's recommendation to now go purchase it from somebody, pay taxes on it, and none of my people own the industry? So that was a fucked up thing anyway. So we had medical, we voted that in, whatever. So I ended up getting my medical card, and once I got my medical card, I realized, I'm gonna start talking shit about it, because like I've been smoking weed. But also, like, our community, we are still on the legacy market mostly because we still trying to profit off of the industry, which we have every right to. But with the legalities of it, to be legal, you got to have a license, you know, to grow it, cultivate it, and distribute it in the state. Well, the barrier to entry was super high. It was a limited license market, and
the price on application fees, all type of stuff,
and it's all cash. So you
all cash.
So you had to have the money. You had to have a facility.
Ain't no loans.
Right. And so the only people that was able to get it was people that already had cold hard cash, or you could go to like a private equity company, or something like that, and get money for that, or you can pull a bunch of people together. So we didn't really have no shot. Like, how many black people you know could just pull together 50,000, 100,000 just for the license,
just for some fees?
And the license, you're not guaranteed to get it. It's a non-refundable fee. So you could have put that 50, 75, 100 up for the dispensary, cultivator, processor, and not won the license, and you just
lost all that money,
100,000.
They do all that on purpose,
right? But this is why I started talking about the state politics, because I was involved in different things, and I'm like, we are not a part of the state politics, and the black people that are not talking about weed,
right.
And a lot of times they end up being the ones, because there's a couple people on Senate bill that signed off of Senate Bill 56 that's supposed to be for the people, and I don't know.
Let's start dropping some names.
I don't know. Go on Ohio Cannabis Report. The names have already been dropped.
The names is dropped.
And so, but part of my thing is, like, even those one person is not going to do nothing. We live in a Republican red state. So the governor didn't like weed. So he was already vehemently against weed, period, whether it's medicinal or recreational. They don't give a fuck. Because they would rather have pharmaceuticals, they would rather have alcohol. Because again, you have these lobbyists, right? Like,
and they're in their pocket, and they're in
the alcohol pockets. And so when you look at Ohio, Jobs Ohio is a nonprofit funded by alcohol sales.
Jobs Ohio this whole time? Is that the site, the government site, you mean?
Yes.
That I have to go on when I was on unemployment and shit?
Jobs Ohio is funded by alcohol money. Ohio was also a part of that big pharmaceutical lawsuit with Purdue Pharma. So the state got billions of dollars for all the people who've been fucked up on opioids. Where is that money?
Where is that money?
It's in some type of pot that's being orchestrated by the state government. Well, who runs the state government? Well, you got obviously Governor DeWine, who's a Republican, and then the GOP, the Republican Party. So with issue 2, right, we voted in issue 2 as a citizens initiated statute, which means that we changed the law, but with a citizens initiated statute, the politicians can come in and change it.
That's
right?
stupid.
Because we didn't pass a constitutional amendment.
Right.
So a constitutional amendment would have wrote this into the Constitution, the state Constitution.
And it can't be touched.
And it can't be touched or changed until there's another constitutional amendment. So again, Ohioans have been fighting for, obviously cannabis legalization for a long time. The reason we didn't pass it the first time was because it was going to be an oligopoly. Monopoly.
I voted no that first time.
Right. So essentially, when we voted in the medical market,
when did it first go on the ballot?
It was
in probably 10, 15 years, like the first time. It's probably done multiple, but the first time it was on the ballot, like most people voted against it.
Because just the way they was making it set up sounded super fugazi. Like only these five companies was going to benefit or some shit. Everybody was like, nah, man.
So that's why everybody voted against that one. Then medical kind of opened the gates. Yeah. And then we pushed, Yes on 2, which was issue 2, which was regulate marijuana like alcohol. And so people voted for that because what is regulate marijuana like alcohol? What could you do with alcohol? Well, you can have home brew, where you can brew your own beer. We have doors now in our city, so now you can go to a bar and walk around the city drinking. Mm-hmm. And so basically,
that's what we meant.
Right. And so and we knew what we meant, right? Right. And so because the whole time at the state house, they were basically saying, oh yeah, all these people voted for it, but they didn't really know what they were voting for. Mm-hmm. Right. They didn't really know they were voting for this hemp program. They didn't know they were voting for this THC level. They didn't know they were voting for this amount of grow space and all this stuff. Social equity, right? Right. And so issue 2 was social equity. So that was supposed to allot, communities that have been most harmed by the war on drugs and prohibition, which is predominantly black and brown communities, access into the cannabis industry, which again, the funds and the taxes, there was 2 pots. You had your community fund and you had your social equity fund, 36% each. Right. And so the 36% for the social equity fund was supposed to go to black and brown communities for whatever we wanted to use it for. It could be used for startup capital to open up a dispensary or to open up a cultivator or a processor because, again, it's so expensive. So this pot of money could be allocated to specific groups, that nonprofits or whatever that come and say, hey, we want to create workforce development in this industry. We want to build housing. We want to do workforce development. We want to do addiction services and treatment. We want to fix up our roads. We want to give the money to the schools. We want to do parks, stuff like that. And so they cut that in half with SB 56. And so essentially with SB 56, which was voted in by the state Senate and the House, essentially gutted all of those things that our community went to vote for, which was social equity funds and resources.
Because that's what my nonprofit wanted to use those funds from that. Right. That's what we was getting at.
Yep. And so, obviously SB 56, Senate Bill 56 guts the hemp program, which again, a lot of us, since we couldn't own dispensaries, people started to open up hemp shops, right? And saying they're dispensaries or just selling it out of, corner store or store or whatever. Which again, that was the loophole that they talk about in with the federal government. And so essentially that's what happened in our state politics. And so now we have SB 56, which goes into law March 20th, which again, it criminalizes and adds fines to traveling with cannabis. So if you are traveling with cannabis without it being in like a dispensary packaging and it's not in the back of your trunk, it's now fines, criminal penalties. If you travel to Michigan to go get your weed or any other legal state and cross state lines, now that's a penalty fine. They cut the homegrown in half. So it was 12 plants if you had 2 adults. Right. And so before the law, you could grow up to like 23 before they could prosecute you. Now they made it a hard cut that at 6 plants, you can't grow over 6 plants now. So that completely changes the game for a lot of people. It also, again, the social equity funds, now the 36% goes to the state general fund, which again is operated by the Republican
whatever
Party,
they want to
the
do.
GOP party. And so we did start getting some funds to cities, but that's like half of the funds that we should have been getting for these. And it took them a whole year to start releasing the funds.
Right.
So
and then when the city gets it, they're still about to fumble it.
the city going to do what they want to do with
Right.
it. Right. And so this is why state level politics is important. This is why county level politics in the city.
Yep.
Because again, like the cities are struggling with, resources as well. So what are they going to do with that money?
It's, who knows, bonuses.
Or they gonna give it to
we
their
won't
friend.
see it.
They're gonna give it to their friend that run a nonprofit. Or yours, right? Or they're gonna make you jump through hoops and hurdles to get all this. And so for me, it was like first of all, like we live in an agricultural state. We should be everywhere.
Right.
Like the drive from Columbus,
that's what Ohio is about.
Right. So why are we still pushing just corn? All of this
stupid shit. Right.
We could be growing hemp.
Right.
And people don't understand, like, hemp.
It's the most viable.
It cleans the soil. It cleans the air. It cleans the water. You could use it for over, like, 50,000 different industrial uses. You can use it for fuel. You can use it for clothes, plastic, housing, for hempcrete. And so, again, you think about those businesses that would be created from that, right?
That's what they don't want.
They don't, yeah.
Right. Because it decentralizes their control and power of what they control. And they keep us on pills and alcohol. They keep us in all of these programs. They keep us locked up. They keep our minds fucked up.
Right.
And now you got to keep coming back, right? And so, issue 2 was something that, again, a lot of us voted for. Over 57% of Ohioans, more people voted for issue 2 than voted for the governor. But again, these politicians, our state is run by Republicans. And so literally, like, I was going to some of the hearings and stuff when they were trying to change it. And it was like, but they was just lying. But again, how many of us showed up?
Right.
Right.
And this is something I'm passionate about. I needed to be there.
But a lot of it too is like, I think COVID, right? And I think what we have to talk about too is like all this happened during COVID.
Yeah.
So we was already kind of isolated. We was already just on social, and these people are showing up to the state house.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They making it seem like, oh, it's illegal to do that and shit.
Yeah. And so but again, they've been vehemently opposed. Like we've hosted lobby days. And the politicians will be in their office and won't come down to the lobby day because we have to educate the politicians.
Right.
This is a new industry. We can't, as cannabis consumers, we can't just be like, oh, everybody's supposed to know because I've been smoking weed for some. No. Some people have been literally conditioned to be like, this is the devil's lettuce. This is evil.
So we have to fight against years and years of also like intentional stigmatizing,
Well, I mean, like the older generation, right? All them ads that they was running back in the days where this is your brain on weed, like this is this on that,
the black girl on the couch,
on the couch, you know what I mean? And so,
and then not to mention, we got Rockefeller we fighting against when it comes to the pharmaceutical industry, when it comes to the American Medical Association, and all these things that they have made pharmaceuticals the center of and not an actual healing. You know
why are pharmaceutical, like oil and pharmaceutical, everything goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Right? So the plastics is fuel.
Yeah, they need it. They make all the shit with that.
In these countries, fuel. It's resources.
Right. It's always resource. It's always money. Right. It's always money related. So follow the money.
You look at weed in our communities. If we could grow our own weed, if we can dispense our own weed, if we can make and do our own currency within our community, we detach ourselves from their system.
Right.
And that's what they've always stopped us or tried to stop us from doing.
That's the whole goal of all these systems.
But that's also why we can't not be involved politically. We can't say, well, I voted. Oh, well, they don't listen to our vote. Yeah, because as soon as you vote, they go to work on Monday to disband what you just voted for. And you're not showing up. And you're like, oh,
it ain't over with. That's the beginning.
Right. And so, like, one of the things that irks me is, like, everybody having these events, right? Yeah, you can have a farmer's market and get your little dough. But you're not doing nothing politically that's going to help your community. So now on March 20th, when all of that shit is illegal.
Now
what did you do to really benefit the whole? Right? And so, it's all fun and games. But guess what? All them outdoor festivals, shut the fuck down. Try to do it. They're going to raid it. And with what money? Cannabis money.
Right.
Right? Because they
use the money and get your ass.
Because so over 6 years, medical and adult use, the state has made or sold collectively over $4 billion.
Yeah.
And we have a limited market. So like we are only at 200 dispensaries for the state. We have 11.8 million people in the state. So I live in Columbus. We have like 13, 14, maybe even more, 17. So I think we have the most out of the state. But when you get to some of these counties, some of these towns, like they don't have no dispensaries. And then a lot of people, again, we going to get it from the legacy market. Everybody cousin and their mama.
Right. It's not hard to do.
It's not, but again, we're not paying taxes on it, and that's what they hate.
Right.
And so, but again, we take that money and our family going to eat, but the whole community ain't going to eat, right? Mm-hmm. And so we have to get to some type of consensus within our community.
How can we do both?
Whether you care about weed or not, somebody related to you probably using it and probably benefits off of it greatly.
Yeah.
So, just like we going to watch, everybody be obese, we going to watch everybody die off of salt and sugar and not say nothing.
It's happening.
But I know. Like, our community is fucked up.
Right. When we upset, we thick.
Right. And so, like, again, me being in physical health and personal training, it's hard for me because accountability, right?
Right.
And if you can't be accountable for your own health and well-being, but you expect somebody else, you expect the pharmaceutical company to be there, you expect the hospital,
or the doctor should have told
me. Which again, the doctors get paid off of signing a script for pharmaceutical.
Right.
So you done saw a commercial talking about this gonna help me lose weight. Well, guess what? You got to go get a doctor's recommendation or referral.
Pay for that visit.
And you got to pay for that visit. That doctor gets paid off of that. Now you go to the pharmacy. That pharmacist, why is it so expensive?
Right.
God forbid if you don't have good insurance, now you paying out the wazoo, right? Or you got to go find your fix on the street. So again, if it's all political.
It's all political.
And at the state level, like people don't realize the federal government gives the money to the state. Then the state distributes that money.
How they see fit,
right? Mm-hmm. And so they gonna give it to their homie that do this business or do that business. Right. And we
out of our hands at that point.
And we're not keeping tallies of this because we're not there.
Right.
Like there's a lot of Republicans smoking weed.
Right.
Like this is a bipartisan issue.
Right.
Like I have hella white boys that have hella fire. Right? So again, who's pressing resin or rosin? Who's making these concoctions?
It ain't us.
It ain't us. We ain't the ones growing a lot of weed.
Right.
Who can grow a whole basement or a whole room full of weed in their grandmama house who passed away and gave them the house?
Right.
And then they can take that weed and go to any one of these college campuses around Ohio, which we have a lot of colleges, where you could drop off, a bag and that joint get distributed within the college, right?
Right.
And so
you just gave y'all the blueprint, say now.
And that's been the blueprint. Like they've been pimping colleges.
Yeah, for sure.
And everything is connected. Like we think everything is disconnected. Like everything we say, the system is working how it's designed.
Right.
People have to understand that.
So, good time to pivot. Let's light up real quick. And, let's talk a bit about CTE while we're here, and then we'll kind of move on to the word, which is a pretty exciting one. So I didn't really know much about CTE. I'll be honest. I don't know a lot about sports. Furthermore, any type of injuries and conditions that come from long-term athleticism.
Head trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about that and like how we can your diagnosis and
So
whatever you feel like sharing.
Yeah, I'm an open book. So again, I started playing football when I was 6-7 years old. My dad played football. It was just what you did. They didn't start talking about even concussions really until like my freshman year of college, right? Of it being a big thing.
And that's already a whole childhood spent.
And our brains the frontal lobe of our brain doesn't fully develop until we're like 24.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when you think about football, a lot of it's, a lot of guys are hitting right there. And you're supposed to hit with your shoulder. You're not supposed to hit with your head.
But it happens.
Sometimes, it's glorified as a hard hit, right? So when you, because they don't really tell you nothing, you know what I mean? Like, you get a concussion, it's like your bell rung.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so shake it off, go sit down. Now there's more protocols around.
I was gonna say because that ain't what all that's going on.
Right, and then as a player too, like again, like I told y'all before, like being an athlete, your greatest asset is being available. So you're more likely to push through an injury or something because you might be afraid that the dude behind you gonna take your spot.
Right.
Because he might be better than you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And at the end of the day,
this whole setup is fucked.
Yeah.
Because it's automatic competition when we need to be learning about collaboration at a young age.
Well, and you're learning, but the thing is, you are learning it.
Because you're learning teamwork.
You are a team
well, yeah,
sport.
you play it with your team, yeah.
So again, like typically, like for me, like once I became an All-American, it was like I wasn't losing my spot. It didn't really matter who came in because at that point,
because your name is etched in that year's stone.
Right, and so even when I did get like after that, my sophomore year, I got hurt and I sprained my foot. I was out the whole season. So literally, I became an All-American. I was lit. I was like, oh, I'm about to come back for this next season and show that it wasn't no fluke, right? Literally, first game, somebody tried to cut me. I jumped over them, landed on my foot wrong, and I fucked up my Liz Frank, which is at the top of my foot, right over my big toe. And so as a defensive back, that's one of my biggest assets is being able to push off my feet and being able to run and shift and go different directions. So I couldn't do that. So I was out for a whole year. And that's my cannabis. The cannabis came into that, just because, again, it's grief, it's pain. Like, you're like, fuck, man, like, this could be my career. Because two other guys had the same injury and never played again. But it's like those things, once you get hurt, like, you never go back to full strength.
So, have you ever had a head injury?
So, with the head, I probably had a bunch of concussions, but I've never had any diagnosed. I've never had any that have kept me out of a game. I'll say my worst one was my junior year in the bowl game, the Idaho Potato Bowl. It was our first bowl game we won. And I came down, it was tight end, and then there was a receiver coming, and my job was to basically get in between this gap, hit the tight end, and basically just fill this hole. So I hit the tight end, boom, bounced off of him, and then this dude came and cracked me, boom. And so, like, I went dizzy. So then I was down and I was crawling over to like their sideline, and that was like the first time where I was like, "Oh shit!" Like,
damn, you was like you felt incoherent.
Oh yeah, and so I had never I had felt like you black out sometimes, but it's like a quick or you feel a bell ring in your ears. But that was the first one. I was like, I can't go back in.
Yeah.
So I was cool. But also I was one of them people like when I got hurt, like you ain't gotta tell me to sit down.
Yeah, I ain't one of them.
But I know I only get one body, I only get one brain.
Period.
You know what I mean? And so I was never really willing to completely compromise like my brain or my body for this sport. And so that was kind of like my awareness. But then we got a sports psychologist my junior year as well, where we started to learn about mental health, visualization, mindfulness, breath work and stuff like that. So then I really started tuning into
that's unheard of to me.
My mental, and so again, when you're a high level athlete, like you have exposure to stuff like this.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So, because I could say like some bad. And we've all heard some CTE stuff, because they have to examine your brain, right? So we think Aaron Hernandez, like how his situation was all fucked up. They said it might have been some CTE related stuff. Remember, he like killed some, he was a sad case, man.
Yeah.
He had the daughter.
It's way more than him, right? Like it's dudes that commit suicide.
Yeah. And that happens a lot.
Yeah, because again, like so with CTE. Like we just started talking about it just a few years ago. They did the CTE movie with Will Smith.
Yeah,
that's when I first heard.
Yeah, and so that's
how come they can't do a scan without you being dead?
Because
I'm sure it's some scientific
shit.
They need to see the slice.
Right. They got to see because it's different parts of your brain.
That's true.
So like even though you hitting with your head, like it could be something.
It's going way back.
Right. And so the thing is too. It's not just hitting. Like a lot of guys get concussions when they fall. And your head snap like that.
Yeah. Anytime your brain is experiencing too much movement, it's bouncing up in your skull.
Yep.
That's like the first trauma. Yeah.
And so a lot of soccer players get concussions because they go up and hit the ball and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But again, we don't talk about it because football is a macho sport.
And it's like the basis of America.
As soon as I know,
the basis of America.
It is. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
And I suggest, especially
like
our
some
people,
gladiator shit, like we in Rome. Like.
I suggest our people read The $40 Million Slave. It's an important book, and if you want to understand sports, entertainment, and the comparison of slavery to professional sports, and black people, you see it.
Yeah.
Because it's very linear, and we act like slavery was so long ago. That shit was not that long ago, right? It is still in our Constitution, the 13th Amendment. You also should watch the 13th, which talks about the 13th
that was
Amendment.
That's a great documentary.
Right. So again,
and how don't Lexner get kind of mentioned in that too, because Victoria's Secret over in other countries.
So it's all tied together. It's all tied together.
It's all tied. That nigga's name's covered up too much.
Yeah.
So speaking of books, let's talk real quick about yours or your feature in the book.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an anthology.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is Courage and Cannabis, and this was put together by Dr. Bridget Williams, who is a black female cannabis doctor here in Ohio, and she's also in Michigan. And so she has, I think, 3 books now. This is the second one, and she originally asked me to do the first one. And I was going through life experiences, so I was like, and I don't like writing. Like, writing gives me anxiety, you know what I mean? Because I write how I talk.
Yeah.
And then when I was in high school, we had a teacher that would help us with our papers. Like, we would talk it out, she would type it. And then when I got to college, I had a couple homegirls that would type my papers out. Because, again, you busy, you moving.
Like most athletes.
Yeah. But also, it teaches
crazy.
you, like, you go to work corporate America, you working in a team. It's collaborative. Is the CEO writing his speeches? Is the president writing his speeches? No, they're not. They have speech writers. So what I learned early on is teaching collaboration, partnership. Like, okay, I know what the fuck I want to say, but I don't know when to put the comma. Like, sometimes, like...
That's just editing. Somebody can go through that and do that for
And now what we got? Artificial intelligence, right? So, again, like, for me, you've had people doing little tasks. What does a secretary do? Write the email for, or fill out. So, for me, it just showed me, one, how these rich white people use these systems.
Yeah.
This was the...
And that's why we so behind, because we trying to do every job our fucking self.
Or we say, go get some help. Who gonna help me?
Right.
You can't help me, but then you want me to go to the white person to ask them to help me.
Right.
But then they gonna charge me. Or now everybody want to do an ebook. Go buy my ebook.
Right.
Like, no. Like, everybody shouldn't be doing the same thing. What are you skilled at? What are you good at? We always talk about that, like, just build community. Like, everybody has their place. Like, and if we will all just learn that, but you have to know self to know your place. You have to be secure within yourself. You got to be able to take... So the thing about football, you learn constructive criticism very early. You got people in the stands telling you some shit, but you sitting there watching me from the stands. I'll beat your ass. Like, but I get to say whatever I want. It's the same thing with the internet. Everybody can say whatever they want with no true value or validity, right? You behind the screen. But imagine if you at your job and you make a mistake and somebody looking over your shoulder, you fucked up on that key backspace. That's technically what we do in football. Oh, you dropped the pass. Oh, you missed the tackle.
Right.
So you're constantly being judged by every single thing. And when you're playing, you watch yourself over and over again. So, like, we do film study. Yeah. So you watch your practice, you watch your individuals. So I'm looking at every little motion. Why did I miss this tackle? Well, guess what? It's a blink of an eye. If you take the wrong step, you might be too slow to catch that dude, right? If you make the wrong read, that receiver is running by you for a touchdown, and you thought it was a run. So you really, when you talk about like being super analytical and like that just comes from football and being like almost premeditated in your move because you have to study everything before you do it. I watched the team for a whole week. Right. So I know
they're watching the other team to see what they gonna do.
So I know your tendencies.
That's like, pretty deep when you think about it.
It is.
Yeah. And so, you know, a lot of us, unfortunately, we just do shit without thinking or processing or being like, nah, like, let me analyze this situation. What is the outcome of me making this choice or decision? Right. You know what I mean? And so as a
same way you do it on the field, do it in every aspect of your life.
And it's just a filter.
But we're not taught to transfer skills.
Yeah.
You know, or how to, but.
And I've had space to do it, right? Like, I've had the ability, I've had the support and the time where I don't have to rush to get no money, right? Like, so when my whole goal for making a league was like, oh, maybe I'll get 100K. Maybe I get 500.
Like a good start.
A good start, because all I needed was a start.
Yeah, just give me the bread. I'm good.
Because you people don't know, all you really need is like 50 to 100 racks. And you put that in a business account, you getting business credit, you getting business loans.
Make one good investment.
Right. And that good investment could be open up a small store. Now we got the internet, so you could put 10 racks into a store, into a clothing line. And if you do it the right way, you can multiply that quickly. And so most of us just don't have that excess capital, right? We were talking about financial literacy earlier. White people don't have good financial literacy either. They just allowed to take risks.
Right.
And they have support when they take
And even if we go in with the same resume, if we change the name to a black name, you're going to get less money.
Right.
Yeah.
And
it's
so,
just
but
off the
also
top.
they just have a connection and a relationship.
It's
so
crazy.
so-and-so got the job because her dad knew so-and-so.
Right.
Right? So y'all might be doing the same level of work, but you're not going to ask little Sarah, but also Sarah getting her cell phone bill paid for by her mom and dad, her credit card getting paid off every month, insurance.
And she got a family
off.
credit card. You
Right.
feel me?
She could go back home and go on vacation and mom and dad going to afford it. And so they're playing a different game where we're starting over at every step.
But we was forced to start over. Like, I don't want to make this a whole,
Yeah.
But we,
systemic.
it's systemic.
But
so.
also we're trying to play their game too. And that game is not designed for us.
Exactly, and that's my point. Like when it comes to us building community and separating ourselves from the systems, we're gonna have to learn to be like, minimalist and be okay with the chill living and not this obsession we have with luxury things and that's not even ours. That's theirs.
I think this is a fantastic way to put it into the word.
Yes, yes.
We talk a lot on our podcast about community and about working, how achieving, to me and Sasha, I think we both have agreed that achieving community is, or a powerful community rather, is a product of individual progress, right? Yeah. If we're not pouring into ourselves, if Clara's not working on Clara, Gerald's not working on Gerald, Sasha ain't working on Sasha, we're not going to move forward.
We're not.
So I think when it comes to healing, we brought up healing, we brought up obviously community. Like, I have been focusing a lot on myself, not in a narcissistic or selfish way, but in I can't be there for you. I can't be there for, I don't have children, but y'all kids, my god kids, my nieces, my nephews, if I'm not standing firm and grounded in who I am.
Yep.
And so the revolution,
we know it won't be televised.
We know it won't be televised, but it's going to come from us truly individualizing our work, and that in itself will just start to grow. It'll permeate outside of ourselves, and the work will be done inevitably. So the word of the day comes from the late great who recently just passed away last September of 25. So R.I.P. to Miss Assata Shakur.
Assata Shakur.
Heard of her? Hopefully, if you're watching us, you have.
Yes.
Do your research.
Yeah.
So probably I would say one of the most notable, influential, controversial members of the Black Panther Party and the American Liberation Army, or American. Am I saying that wrong? Black Liberation Army. So the quote, our word of the day here is probably my most favorite one to date, maybe.
Ooh. That's saying a lot.
We've had some good ones.
We have.
It says we need to be weapons of mass construction, weapons of mass love. It's not enough just to change the system. We need to change ourselves.
Damn.
So that's exactly why I was like, you literally started talking about it. And that's like one of the beauties of this podcast is like the words almost find us.
Yeah.
Like in the perfect timing with whoever's coming on. It always resonates in a very unique and special way. So, Assata Shakur, obviously.
Yeah. that is exactly what we need right now. Like construction, and like one thing a lot of people don't realize that like construction and destruction are kind of like on the same coin. But, yeah, like it's gonna go hand in hand.
They require each other.
Yeah. So as things look like they're going crazy, which they are, you know what I'm saying? But you know that there's edification that can come through that too, so That's very deep, as she said. Weapons of mass construction. You know, not you, George Bush. Not weapons of mass destruction.
And considering, you know, everything that's going on right now with our political climate, it's just very telling of like how far like mind control has gotten, and that people aren't so much as standing up for themselves or having their own way of thinking. You're just kind of going along with whatever's being spewed at you, put on the news, communicated in social media, and I'm trying to do better at like turning that shit off, because it's not as informative as we think.
And it's an algorithm that like we know that they fucking with us too, right? You know what I mean? Like even if you're the most wokest, like you know what I mean? Like oh they can't get me. Like there's still some shit popping off. Like they're using your cookies and all. Yeah.
Well, because it's all designed for their system again, right? So we look at it, okay, the app is free, but then they use it to market or for marketers, right? So most companies, once you have a product or a service, what do you have to do? You have to market.
You have to get the ads going.
You have to get it out there, right? So when you got 1 billion people on Facebook, now you go to a business person, even small businesses now, right? Because now everybody like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, I got this clothing line, and I could blow up because I could do $1,000 on Facebook ads or Instagram ads. And so, again, people are doing well, but how many more brands do we need?
Right. That's where I'm at with this. I'm so sick if I see another sweatsuit with a logo, bro.
How many?
Like what is this doing for our community, though?
Right. They don't sell me no $60 shirt, and I can only wear it one time because I done put it in the wash. And
it's stretched out.
So then you gonna get mad at me because I done supported the black business, and I done spent the $60. Like I don't do like luxury. I've never gotten the Gucci.
Yeah, neither.
I never did that. You know
right.
what I mean? The most I did was some Nikes, some Jordans. You know, my stepmom would probably buy me the most expensive shit. Like my dad.
That's how my mom is. Anything I got that's nice, she bought.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I was always, super. And I went to Catholic school, so I didn't really need the freshest shit.
Right.
I had a uniform, so I never really cared about looking or feeling a certain type of way. And then I'm from the hood. Like that shit don't make sense.
Right.
And rich white people don't even wear that shit.
They don't. It's just that middle people that's
right.
That they got in the chokehold.
Right. Yeah. When you look at the numbers, we're the ones doing all that.
Yes, funding it all.
So, and then we're the culture behind it.
And they sitting on the yacht like,
they think they have money.
We don't even wear eat this shit.
Right. They think it's
Walmart. Like, look at Adam Sandler. Yeah, like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But, again, that self-love, that inner love, but that's work, right? Like, it's cool to smoke with the homies, but everything shouldn't be redundant, right? Like we shouldn't just be getting blazed to just do nothing.
Right,
There has to be cannabis is a part of my lifestyle.
Right.
It's not who I am. It's not all that I do. It's just
It's a lifestyle factor.
Right. Just like I drink tea. Just like I try to eat healthy. Just like I try to exercise. Just like I try to stretch. Just like I try to read. You know what I mean?
Talk to the people, man.
All goes into it. But also cannabis helps with inflammation, right? So I have chronic pain in my ankles because I have arthritis. So again, that's very uncomfortable. But people look at me like, oh, you young, bitch. Yeah, my ankles is 60. Right. And so, but that arthritis hurts. It just feels like a bunch of needles. Well, when I smoke weed or I put a balm on, right? And everybody thinks weed is just smoking it. No. I can get a balm and put it on. It's topical.
Yep.
You got tinctures, you got vapes, you got edibles, you got all different ways and forms of getting cannabis into your body.
Yep.
Unfortunately, our community focuses on combustion because it's the cheapest way. It's the most economical and easy way. We like to combust in community.
Right.
So it's more of it's a spiritual communion amongst us. And so it's more ritualistic. So for me, that's why medical was a problem in Ohio because we couldn't combust. It was technically illegal to combust.
That was so stupid to me.
Right, but again, who's making the laws?
Wait, what? It was illegal to light it on fire?
That's why they didn't have papers and stuff in the dispensary.
What, you supposed to eat it? Look at it?
You supposed to make tea.
You gotta make tea or eat
it.
Well, again, before we buying edibles, and then you had the vapes, but if you bought flour.
So you weren't. Wait a minute. Let's go back, y'all, because I don't think I realized this.
Yeah.
When we had medical
only in Ohio.
you were supposed to buy flour, but you were technically not supposed to light it on fire.
There was no combustion. We didn't get, and that was a part of issue 2. So getting issue 2 passed allowed for public consumption and combustion, right? Because again, you look at our community, the most ways that we consume is through combustion. So
that pretty much that law was like against us.
Right.
Exactly. We're not showing up at the state house and, speaking on our behalf. And so we'll be the ones, again, when this law goes into effect, if it does, we will be the most harmed because we don't own homes. In Ohio, we have a housing shortage. Most black people don't own their homes. So where are you going to smoke at? All the dispensaries, all the hemp shops, they got to shut down. You can do it illegally, but they're going to come crash you.
Yeah, and then that's going to have hella implications on the block party.
And it's everything, though. Like, the block party, but also, and the city might allow it. Because some of the cities, they not tripping for real. They're not going to, like, the police don't want to do that shit because they got way more shit to worry about.
Right.
And they
know you're not doing shit.
Right. But that's why, like, in the city, we might be cool. But if you travel outside the city, where again
they already be tripping.
We are in Ohio, so if you are off the beaten path, where they already rolling all this shit back, you get caught with an ounce. Got him.
Wow.
And they didn't even free nobody from when we just did what we just did. Like, you got to pay a fine, or you got to pay $50 for an expungement. That should be automatic expungement if you had anything dealing with cannabis that wasn't violent.
Right.
But they're going to send you through loopholes. How many niggas know they got to go here to go there to get $50 to then get their records expunged? Well, what happens when you are a felon or you have a charge? Housing, jobs. Everything. So again, it ropes
the
us right
system, people. The system.
But that's why state politics is important. And that's why, like a lot of us,
you got to get in there. That's why I'm into this, in the political space. Not necessarily because I want my people informed. I want them to understand what's going on that level of things. Get out there, get your feet moving,
and
make some changes.
To create the policies.
We need to have input in general. Like, we need to know who these people is. We need to walk up to them and say what we need to say. All of that good stuff. But it's been a long conversation. We could go on forever.
Right, this could be the longest.
We appreciate having you, Gerald, for real. It's been a great episode. Tell everybody where they can find you, where they can stay up to date on what's going on.
And the forum will have the first. I know you plan on making the forum a series.
A series, yeah.
So it'll probably, it's definitely going to be a pass by the time this episode airs. But just plug it anyway because
it's a space and time. Let them know.
Yeah, so we putting on the Central Ohio Cannabis Social Equity Forum, essentially to talk about social equity, policy changes. But also just to create community and have conversations more than just us smoking, right? Let's talk about policy. Let's talk about legislation. Let's talk about what they're going to do with the money that they have distributed to our communities. But also we need our voices out there, right? And so our voices need to be in collective spaces where we can share our ideas, but also like come together as community and say, this is what we need to be doing strategically to get our paper, right? Because,
and we need to be on the same page.
Right.
So we have to meet. We have to talk.
Exactly. And it's platforms. My personal is Gerald Moore Jr. I post family stuff. I post little stuff. I'm on TikTok. Social media, I kind of post things and just leave it. I'm like, y'all, I don't really give a fuck about the platform. Like, I'm just here to get my message out and keep it pushing.
And that's why I fuck with you. I've been like watching your videos lately, and I'm like, he right on board with like what we own and like just the vibes.
I want to help uplift other people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a very communal person. As a big brother, you know what I mean? Like, I want to see everybody eat and win because I know what I eat. Like, I'm
enough out here. There's enough food and money for us all to do that.
Right.
Do well, and we don't all need to be in the same lane. And again, be special at what you're good at. Find what you're good at, but you got to be with yourself. You got to, spend time, do that work, go to therapy. You know what I mean? Like, I go to therapy, especially as a man. I think that's important.
It is.
And I think community wise, right? How you treat yourself is how you're gonna treat your brothers and your sisters.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's why it all starts within. I think we're searching. We missing that part. We trying to like get together. I'm all about collaboration and community, but I don't want to be in a big community with a bunch of motherfuckers who ain't healed.
Right.
Or who ain't learning
now
or growing.
stupid shit going.
Now we right. That's where we at now.
And that's what I don't do. And like I'm very isolated. I have a family, right? So I do have a nonprofit, Green Environmental Outreach, which kind of backs into the cannabis space, but it's more about sustainability and stuff like that, urban growth and development. But all of it ties in.
Right.
And so for me, I understand I'm building something that's bigger than just monetary gain or this over that. You know what I mean? So really just community.
And the education is always the bringing the awareness is the first key. So we always gonna need that. So appreciate you, brother.
Man, appreciate you. We gonna
doing
throw
the good
all
work.
These links and socials and everything in the description box. Before y'all get out of here, don't forget to like, share, comment. I know we got some Bobcats out there watching.
Yeah,
tap in.
Throw your green hearts. Throwing your green hearts in the chat. All right. All right, y'all.
R.I.P. Asada.
R.I.P.
Peace.
Peace.